Sport is a religion. Signature Television is your worship center, and Franklin Imona is your sporting priest. Welcome to yet another interesting edition on the show, Signature Sport. It comes away every Mondays to Fridays at 11 a.m. where we engage you with the best sporting stories making round all over the globe and keep you glued to your screen. On the show today, we have so much for you, beginning from Abuja, where the Dambe competition took center stage, to the latest in the Glass House as the NFF continue in their search for a new coach. The Super Falcons have touched down at Nigeria, and it is a night where European football hit center stage with the return of the UEFA Champions League. All these and many more on the show today. And on the show, I've got a renowned sports analyst, a sport superstar, permit me to say that, and also a sport journalist who have traveled far and wide just to engage fans all over in the ever-exciting world of sport. Mr. Jeffrey Obrigado, well known as Asi, joins me on the show today. A very good morning to you, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good morning, the greatest of all time. As
oh, there we go again.
It's good to have you. It's good to be here with you. It's a privilege and an honor to be with you always, every time talking football, the rounded game. It's beautiful and it's a beautiful sport.
Just like he did say, we will not be talking football alone. We'll talk basketball. If time permits, we take you to the latest in Formula One as well as the world of tennis. All right. Let's begin on the show as we take you to the Velodrome right here in Abuja, where it was a night of a cultural heritage as well as a local martial art. It was the Super Fight 9th Season 3 in the Dambe competition as fans all over the city of Abuja as well as international fans coming to enjoy the best of local boxing, local wrestling, in fact our own local UFC, where the Dambe competition Season 3 took center stage, and they were fans who enjoy the thrill and excitement that a Dambe competition had to offer. Talking about the game initiator and as well as the founder of the Dambe Warriors competition, no other but Mr. Chidi Anyenya, also spoke concerning the game that it was to infuse the Nigerian culture as well as the Nigerian sport, exporting it all over the world. Mr. Jeffrey Obrigado, you are not new to the Dambe competition. Haven't spent a lot of years in this part of the country. How did you enjoy the competition over the world, having fighters progressing into the Season 4 as well as other fighters showing why they deserve to be champions?
It was thrilling. It was absolutely amazing, fantastic. Top talents available in yesterday. It was exciting to watch, and I was really thrilled by the talent I've seen in the country. You know, it's beautiful to have such talent in the country and helps us export this talent outside the country so that it can bring glory to the country.
Absolutely. And fighters from Nasarawa, fighters from Kano, fighters from Taraba also took center stage, and not forgetting the likes of Dogo Messi, who showed why he had no mercy over his opponent. Not forgetting Kadara, who also progressed to the next round. Just so you know, the Super Fight 9 went down in Lagos, where we had the Season 2, as well as in Nasarawa, Kano, Taraba, where fighters emanated into the finals as well as progressed into the Season 3. But then it was a night like never before, as fans were constantly kept on their seat. The likes of Kadara and Daga made it into the Season 4 of the next edition, while Maja and Nasarawa had to battle ferociously why they should also progress into the Season 4. But also we also add, it's divided into three heavyweight, Mr. Jeffrey.
Yeah.
The lightweight.
We have the lightweight, the middleweight, and the heavyweight.
Absolutely. And among the middleweight fighters, we saw the likes of Bia and Kansila, who showed that they have got the Nigerian strength in them with punches as well as knees moving left, right, and center.
It was
Jeffrey?
absolutely thrilling. I saw the kind of punch that I used to see when I watch in the international stage. It was really amazing to see such talent in the country spring forth and giving us some high-profile professionalism in the sport, and it is pleasing to watch.
And not forgetting also in the middleweight, the likes of Kawoji as well as Ebola fought in that one. But Ebola was he was decimated. In fact, he was floored, and Kajoa. It was such a beautiful game. I saw Kawoja showing that all through his years in the Dambe competition, it wasn't anything that we should take for granted. He showed experience as well as class.
That's consistency. You know, once you're consistent in a particular field from the starting of the stage to a level, it will make you feel as if you've been there for a while. But it's consistency. Once you're consistent, what I saw in that fighter was he has been consistent.
Absolutely.
In this back of his room, like when it comes the starting stage, he has been consistent, and what he was doing yesterday was absolutely amazing.
You look at Shaban and Dogo Messi. Dogo Messi couldn't hold his own. At the end of the fight, it was Shaban who showed that Messi, you can only do that in Argentina, not right here in Nigeria.
When you talk football, not when it comes to boxing.
But unfortunately, for our international fighters that actually came in to test their European mind with Nigerian warriors, the likes of Szczesny from Russia, he was actually well beaten. I saw that fight. He did show class. He did show why he is a black belt from the UFC, but the Nigerian strength actually proved superior. But for his friend from Poland, talking about no other person but the White Mamba, known as Masters. Masters was actually amazing. What he had over the Nigerian boxer, talking about Dan Yellow, was his knee. His high knee was ferocious.
It was brutal. It was brutal. The way he was just throwing up the kick and the punch, and it was just really amazing, because that's where you know that this particular Mashwell has been there. He has been consistent in this field. So, but kudos to our Nigerian fighter, because he was amazing. You understand? But Mashwell is really, really consistent all this while.
And the biggest one of them all are talking about the heavyweight contender. We have the likes of Ali Cannon-Bello, known as ALKB, took on Yamashita in that one. In fact, that fighter was the longest. But you look at the likes of Yamashita, he proved to be superior. He is physically built. His punches were deadly, and this guy was crowned champions. And in fact, the security had to double their efforts up to 3-4 times in order to prevent the crowd from entering into the ring to celebrate their champion. It was a glorious celebration.
That's absolutely, because when you see somebody that have given you this might, this belief that you can do it. You know, in Kano, this particular sport is really, really, really amazing. It has been inculcated into their culture. So it is every year something for them to bring in somebody from the scratch from each category. So that yesterday fight, the champion is really, really amazing. And if you look at his physique, he is absolutely built for that stage.
Super Fighter Season 4 will return when it's time. We will definitely let you know. But as for Franklin, I will be in the stands actually doing my thing. Perhaps it is not time for me to get into the ring and show you my Dambe skills. And my Dambe skills is with the microphone as well as the camera to do what I love to do best. And away from the Dambe competition, let's move to another charity news where Nigeria Junior Tigers we are not lucky in the final, as they fell to a more superior Mali team. Though they lost the final 61-54, it was a narrow win. But come on, one thing that we can take away from that game was that Nigeria Junior Tigers will represent Nigeria together with Mali in the under-18 FIBA World Championship that will be going down in Switzerland. 2 teams from Africa will represent Africa in the tournament, and Nigeria and Mali progresses.
It's amazing. The girls are brilliant. They are absolutely amazing. The semi-final, they fought through. They came from behind to come out through in the semi-final, and it was just little technical issue. You know, they are young girls, so by this time they reach to the stage, I believe what Wakama is going to take
Do with those girls.
do with those girls. And the FIBA Championship, don't write them off, because
Absolutely.
they are going to go back and prepare, rehearse, and come back with full force. I was really pleased by our girls. Absolutely, I'm telling you.
The saying that what the man can do, the woman can do better, that was the case of the Nigerian basketball team, where the male fell in the quarterfinals to a much more superior Egyptian side. Though they finished the competition ranked 7th, but it was not a good outing for the team. But the women had to help them spare their blushes.
I felt that, you remember when they were trying to come over to South Africa, they rejected their visa. Psychologically, it would have affected the team. But the Egyptians, kudos to the Egyptians, because they were brilliant. I watched that game. It was really a brilliant game from the Egyptians. But I believe there are a lot of potential in our boys, and I know they are going to come back stronger. Definitely.
Absolutely. And from basketball, we move to where it's currently going down in the city of Asaba. Our own Olympic Games, where the National Youth Games 2024 is in its match day 5. Where Asaba, talking about the athletes from Delta State, are proving why they are the best state when it comes to sporting activities. Closely following Delta State is Edo State in the medal table, but that is not our biggest talking point. We will not forget to mention that the FCT, for the first time in a long time, are currently ranked number 7th in the medals table. Though, as at this time, last edition, they were ranked 11 as at this time. But that is not the biggest talking point. The biggest talking point is our own brothers from the northern zone. The North as the land, as the population, as the financial muscle to wrestle other states from winning more medals than them. You take a look at the medal table between number 21 down to number 36, about 99% of the states there are northern states. And then we ask, why are the North not doing well when it comes to sport, despite having the human
population advantage?
Absolutely, as well as the arable land for sporting activities? What might be the reason?
I told you before when we were talking about this, you need to go into consistency in grassroots.
True.
Grassroots is paramount to every uplifting in sport.
Absolutely.
This is a place where you can educate the people about the importance and the dividend you gain from being a sport person. And the northern part of Nigeria has the population, and they have the financial might. You know what I'm talking about?
The Dangotes of this world, you name them from the north.
A lot of high-profile men has come out from this this region. But what I really want from the high-profile men is go into your state and establish facilities.
True.
Establish stadiums, establish what we call a grassroots momentum.
Just to quote you, Mr. Jeffrey, you look at America, for example. Every street has what we call the basketball court. Every state engage in what we call the NNL. That is their own football, the Super Bowl.
That's it.
We have what we call the baseball, and they are doing well, yielding financial dividends to not only the states but the country as large. And that is why in the Olympics, teams from athletes, I beg your pardon, from USA, from China, from Russia, don't fail to disappoint. But here in Nigeria, the youths are wasting away, and it is called the National Youth Games. But in the north, the youths are just, they are left on their talent untapped.
When it comes to, you know what I'm talking about, this northern part of Nigeria, they have the zeal, they have the temerity, they have what I call the endurance policy.
True.
I'm telling you, and they are not after the financial aspect of anything they are doing. If it can be inculcated into the northern system, whereby sports is going to be a fundamental from the grassroots, from the child age to the teen age to the grown-up age. It will help alleviate poverty from that part of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
They just need to inculcate this system. I'm telling you, when it comes to racing, the Olympic athletics sports, the football sports, the other aspect of sports, they need to inculcate it into the mindset from the youth age. Look at what we are talking about. You're talking about the wrestling competition,
the Dambe
competition. We're talking about the northern part of Nigeria. It's their culture. Every year they celebrate that culture. If every sport can be fixed in or plunged into the northern part of Nigeria, I'm telling you, in the next 5 years, you will see a high-profile competition coming out from the north.
Mr. Jeffrey, can we look at it this way? Nigeria is divided into 6 geopolitical zones, and we are divided into 4 major cardinal points, from the north to the south to the east and to the west. You take a look at the south, where it is endowed with waters, ocean bodies. Imagine Nigeria doing well in swimming, in synchronizing swimming. You look at water sport, they are endowed with this as well as other sports. You come down to the west. Permit me to say, our Western brothers, we know some of them to be in our local language, Taut, Agbero, what have you, but we can actually harness them and take them into the ring where they can box for money.
That's it.
They can box for glory.
That's it.
We go to the north. They have the population. We engage them.
That's it.
Endurance race, we engage them. Long jump, high jump, they have the land. We come down to the east, where our Igbo brothers, we know them to be financial and business oriented. We engage them in sports that involve calculations, like tennis,
That's it.
you know, like
snooker.
Absolutely. And before you know, we start harnessing these regions and this zone when it comes to sport, looking at the peculiarity of their land.
Each zone. Now you're talking about system. Now, we need to build a system. This is a system. If it can be put into the fundamentals, into the grassroots stage, the system, according to your field. In the next 4 Olympics, Nigeria will be one of the best. If you take a look at South Africa, they are taking sport into another dimension.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, the way South Africans are engaging into sport, from the grassroots, from the secondary school aspect and cadre, they involve you in sport, give you medal, and motivate you, make you feel like you know that this thing you're doing, you are seeing it, that there's progress. In the next few years, you will hit a higher level or higher dimension into the sporting world. So Nigeria need to create a system. I always tell you about system. We don't have a system. If we can create this system, in the next 5-10 years, we'll be in the limelight of the world.
Absolutely. It's all about system. It's all about policy. It's all about having round pegs in round holes, having men and women with sport enthusiasm in them, with the sport know-how, mount some of this important position. You'll see Nigerian sport moving in its glory, moving in its halo chamber, moving in its apex where it ought to be. I hope the relevant stakeholders as well as the relevant agencies are listening, and they will do the needful in no time. Obrigado is here. He can provide a technical advice to how these things can run. And before you know, Nigeria will be among the top nations in the world when it comes to sport. And away from that, let's move to the glass house, where information reaching us is that the Nigerian Football Federation has come out again to deny that they have not engaged German tactician Wilfried Schaffer as the new head coach of the Super Eagles. One of the NFF officials who happens to plead on anonymity did say that they have heard the news being peddled around, news moving that the NFF have engaged a certain Wilfried Schaffer as the new head coach, but he has come out to debunk that rumor that at the moment the NFF are actually looking for coaches, but they have not settled for Wilfried Schaffer. And again, I ask, what is it with Nigeria and foreign coaches? What is it with Nigerians and German coaches? First, it was a certain Bruno Labbadia who turned down the job offer. And then we had a certain Franco-German tactician, no other person but Gennett Rohr. Before him, we had Lars Lagerberg. We had Otto Gloria, who is a Brazilian actually, but had German descent. Not forgetting Clement Westerhofer. All of these are German, but we know to every rumor, there's an iota of truth. There is no smoke without fire. Should we agree with the NFF that it is just a hearsay, or the NFF are trying to use this news to test waters as often?
I always tell you, it's a theatrics. It's a theatrical play between the NFF and the Nigerian Association. You understand what I'm telling you, the conglomerate of Nigeria. Because when it comes to employment of coach, they feel like, or they are feeling like the first time Nigeria had promise, Nigeria had a vision, Nigeria had consistency in football was with a German coach. So they are trying to go back into heritage, into going back to a German coach. Don't forget the former German coach that we had, the coach of Benin, you know, he was consistent.
Gennett Rohr
was consistent in picking players, in doing some research. He picked one of the best players modernly now in our Nigerian setup. No, now,
who might that player be?
We're talking about the Lookman. He was the one that figured out Lookman. He brought back Iwobi. He convinced Iwobi into the national team.
Absolutely.
A lot of players, even Ekong. He was one of the coaches that brought in Ekong into the national team.
True.
So he has the foresight of seeing talented players that are playing outside the country or that are born outside the country. So I'm just trying to say that the NFF, I really don't know. It is really painful that for now, up till now, we are not able to get a coach. I told you this. What is really the problem for us not getting a coach? Is that any other underground fishing, any other movement or rigmaroling when it comes to selection? What are they fighting for? What are they trying to yield from?
Big question.
Not bringing up a coach for like almost a year.
A coach they can control.
I'm telling you. And this Eguavoen has been fantastic to me, even if it's not up to the criteria
that we need for a national team,
based on our level of football in this country. So I really don't know what's happening to NFF, but there is truth in that. But the NFF is trying to dodge the bullet because there's a whistleblower in the glass house.
Oh wow!
I'm telling you now, you know what I'm trying. Before the media
we have our intel.
We have an intel that will tell you that this is what is going to happen. So and that's it. So,
and talking about intel, remember before Coach Austin Eguavoen took the job to take on as the coach of the Super Eagles in the last two games, there was this back and forth between a certain Eric Charlet, the former coach of Mali, and a certain Tom Settenfiend of Belgium. These are two foreign coaches to which the NFF we are torn. One part of the NFF actually wanted Eric Charlet, while the other part of the NFF wanted a certain Thomas Settenfiend. But then they actually ended up with Austin Eguavoen because they couldn't pay the salary, because they couldn't agree. Could that be the underground work by some of those men per se, that why we haven't got a coach up till now, and why certain Bruno Labbadia didn't take the offer, even when the NFF went ahead to announce that he's the new coach of the Super Eagles, and now a certain Shafa, who they are saying, no, we haven't engaged him, even though we are still looking for a coach.
You know, in every system of any play, in the coaching world now, before a coach take a job now, it is very important for the coach to ask question. You understand? For his predecessor, from his predecessor, because if you don't ask question, you fall into the ditch that former predecessor fall into. You understand? So I think this coach had to ask a lot of questions about the system of Nigerian football. You understand? You cannot just come into a country, you want to come and coach the national team of that country, and you think like it's going to be bed of roses, whereby there is a power tussle underground trying to fight who are the ones that are in charge, who are not the ones. The situation Cameroon Federation is fighting between Samuel Eto'o and the Cameroon Sports Federation. You understand? So these are what is the problem that is channeling, especially Western football in our western part of Africa, because if you check about the northern part of Africa, they have system.
It's a seamless move.
I'm telling you this thing. We need system in this especially this country, we
wow.
need system in every part, not only football, in every sporting part of Nigerian
sport
I'm
in
telling
general.
you, seriously.
The system is what will guarantee result and continuity. But this was not the story of the Falconet as they touched down Nigeria a couple of hours ago after a painful exit from the Under-20 Women's World Cup, where they were knocked out by the ladies from Japan. Despite getting a consolation goal in the 91st minute, it was not enough for coach Christopher Danjuma's side to bid farewell to the competition. A competition that they had high hopes and felt it was their year of dominance and their year of winning. Despite coming second twice in this competition, they couldn't hold their own against Japan. In the group stage, they won 2 games and lost 1, losing to Germany, defeating Venezuela as well as South Korea in the group stage, but they had to fall in the round of 16 to Japan. What's next for the Under-20 team?
They come back home, they prepare, they keep going, keep pushing. Japan, Asian team has been a menace for Nigerian women team.
In the world of football, for the women in general.
Been a menace. Anytime we meet an Asian team, we know that it's going to be.
But we defeated them in the group stage, South Korea, but just a long goal.
Just a long goal. But what happened when it comes to the moment? We call it the moment. What happened?
Yeah, it matters most.
It matters most. So the problem is that I'm not blaming them. The girls were fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I was really impressed with the girls. They were young and they were so fantastic. So they just come back and just start up all over again and try to push forward into the next level. That's it.
And away from the local scene, but just before we go, let's let you know that this is a 2024, but for the African Footballer Cup of Nations for 2027 is already on the way, where 3 nations will come together to host, talking about Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. We hear that administrators as well as members of the Confederation of African Footballer touched down Kenya in the early hours of yesterday to inspect one of the stadiums that will be hosting the competition. We hope to see a robust AFCON come 2027.
You know what happened? Corona has really affected countries.
Oh, wow.
You understand? So that's why you need merging, because one country cannot be able to pull up
unless you are in Morocco.
Unless you are in Morocco.
Morocco is hosting for 2025.
Because they have been yearning for this. They have been yearning for this. They want this.
And they have a system.
Yes, and there's a system. And they have a lot of financial backing.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fantastic African Cup of Nations because these are beautiful cities.
Could it be that they had to look out for the World Cup that will be coming down in 2 years' time, where USA, Canada, and Mexico will be combining to host the World Cup? If the World Cup can be held with combined forces of nations, African can actually do that, and they have, and they will do it.
It's aesthetics. We try to check in other countries, the beautiful cities in one place. You use one stone to kill 2 birds. That's just the kind of angle we are trying to look at. We Africans, we always have a model to try to follow up or look up to FIFA when it comes to any team football and in general sport. So it's a beautiful nature whereby 3 African countries is going to host an African Cup of Nations. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And talking about beauty, let's move to the foreign scene, where it is the night of glitz, a night of glamour, a night of football ecstasy. It is the return of the UEFA Champions League. If you are a Manchester United fan, if you are a Chelsea fan, perhaps tonight is not a time where you should be glued to your TV set, because your team will not be playing in the Champions League come this season. But come on, Jeffrey, it is a night where football lovers all over the world have been waiting for. If you are not playing in the UEFA Champions League, you are not playing anywhere in the world of football.
What an illuminating night.
36 teams will be joining to win the much converted trophy for this season. The Champions League will take a new twist. We are even on Thursday always, a Champions League footballer will be played come this season. But first, let's look at some of the fixtures that will be going down later tonight, where Young Boys will take on Aston Villa, and then Juventus, the old ladies, will welcome Dutch champions PSV Eindhoven, and then it is all about Portuguese side Sporting CP welcoming Lille Metropole of the French League 1. Champions, defending champions Real Madrid with the new boy Kylian Mbappe will welcome to the Santiago Bernabeu VSB Stuttgart of Germany, the Los Merengues, the Los Blancos, the most successful team in this competition. And then we have Bayern Munich welcoming a Croatian side Dinamo Zagreb, and the biggest one for tonight, AC Milan at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium, popularly known as the San Siro, will be welcoming the Army from Merseyside Liverpool, two of the most successful sides in this competition, just behind certain Real Madrid and of course Bayern Munich. In fact, it is a night of good football. Before we talk about Real Madrid, where you have consistently clamor that Carlo Ancelotti need a central defensive midfielder, let's talk about the big one, AC Milan Liverpool. AC Milan over the weekend won for goals to nil against Venezia, newly promoted side, where 4 different goal scorers were on the score sheet. But for Liverpool, it was a twist where they suffered their first defeat of the season. A certain Virgil van Dijk losing his first game at Anfield in 73 matches. That is spanning over 3 seasons. That record has officially been broken by Nottingham Forest that had the likes of Taiwo Awoniyi and of course Ola Aina. Liverpool will take on AC Milan. What's your take in the game?
Before I talk about this game, Liverpool are a team that created a tantrum, a pandemonium in the weekend. They nailed the bookies.
Wow.
They took us to a place where we don't understand.
E.g.?
So I'm not forgiving them. I'm not forgiving them for what they did.
You mean the bookers?
I'm not forgiving
the
Liverpool
tickets
for what they
actually
did. You don't understand what
God.
Liverpool did. Yeah. So I placed a curse on them. I'm telling you. But for the Champions League, these are heritage, two heritage of the beautiful game.
Absolutely.
This is one of the best, if not the best international competition when it comes to the round leather game in football in the world. Champions League. This is a beautiful game. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a state of everybody will put on his own gear to sit tight, because it's going to be a thrilling game. Liverpool has been fantastic of this age. They missed out last season. They are going to deliver this season, because Arne Slot, I believed in him. I always believe in him.
And Slot,
fantastic manager. And AC Milan, they needed that win at the weekend because they have been losing back to back. If he lose that game at the weekend, he's going to be on a hot seat. So it was a fantastic game because Tammy Abraham started that game. It was beautiful to see the Portuguese whiskey. It was fantastic.
Rafael Leao.
So it's going to be a fantastic game today. Absolutely.
Not forgetting Christian Pulisic, he was among the goal scorers over the weekend, and of course Theo Hernandez also on the score sheet. Now let's come to Real Madrid with Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, the front three of Carlo Ancelotti, always knows how to deliver in the Champions League. When it comes to the Champions League, it is all about Real Madrid. Just when you thought that they have lost it, they always find a way of coming back from the dead, winning games, getting fantastic results. And of course, Kylian Mbappe will want to prove a point tonight. Definitely. Against VfB Stuttgart.
Definitely. When you talk about Champions League, you're talking about Real Madrid. These are heritage. These are what we call Madrid is Champions League. We give it to them because on the tight moments, they are always in play. And Kylian Mbappe, one of the superstars in the world, now is in a club that will fit into his status quo. He's going to deliver. I told you about Madrid don't have a defensive central midfielder.
Now, let's talk about it for a moment. Real Madrid so far this season, they have been plagued with injury. Camavinga has been ruled out of in this one. Elder Militao, and of course Ruben Diaz, Ibrahim Diaz Diaz actually has been ruled out until December, and we have a Jude Bellingham gradually finding his form after some weeks of injured. And then you look at Real Madrid, and not forgetting Elder Militao. The defense lineup is a little bit shaky, but one thing that we know, Don Carlo Ancelotti always have a way of grinding the result. Real Madrid in their last 2 games in the La Liga, they had to win by penalties, 4 penalties in 2 games, where Vinicius and Mbappe actually buried. Do you see that a central defensive midfielder will be a problem for Real Madrid tonight?
This season is going to be a season whereby a lot of clubs have improved. If you watch Spanish La Liga this season, a lot of clubs have improved. And Real Madrid, I know Don Carlo has been exceptional. He's even now exceptional. But there's a missing link in Cruz. You know when I'm talking about, if you're watching Madrid now, there is that missing. No player in Real Madrid now has that quality to embody what Cruz is doing for Real Madrid as of years ago. Now, I'm talking about a CDM that will control the defense and control the attack. That is what Cruz was bringing into Real Madrid as a team. Now, you see Madrid always conceding goals because they believe that Cruz is going to dictate the play and create more chances with one pass. You understand? But now in that CDM, Cavaniga is exceptional, Tchouaméni is exceptional, Valverde is exceptional, but they don't have that economical play when it comes to being economical on the ball.
And Modric is getting old.
I cannot call him, he's a master, but he's already out of the game. He needs a few minutes to add a lot of experience when it comes to this game. That's it. Madrid needs a CDM. And if you check out what's happening in the Spanish newspaper, you are hearing that Madrid is going for Rodri next season, for next summer, which is 2025/2026 season. They need a CDM. It will affect them. Not now. We are just seeing what is happening, but I believe Carlo Ancelotti, as a Don, he's always good in finding spaces, finding loopholes to make everything come in play.
I guess that position in the midfield will be well explored when Real Madrid plays Barcelona. Looking at Barcelona this season, they have been scoring goals already. They have scored about 14 goals of the season, conceding just 4. While Real Madrid have been picking up draws and have been helped with penalties to actually win games. And finally, before we leave the night of ecstasy, that is the Champions League, it will be a first game for Aston Villa against the Young Boys. Early kickoff, 5:45. That game will be on Unai Emery's Aston Villa against Young Boys of Belgium. Do you see Unai Emery staking a name in this competition? Remember what happened to Newcastle last season, where they were placed in a group of death. They had a PSG, AC Milan, and a Borussia Dortmund. Do you see Aston Villa doing well in the competition this season?
Don't forget, Aston Villa has a heritage. They have a Champions League medal to their table. So, when it comes to about heritage and life,
when you say Aston Villa, are you taking a swipe at us now?
What are you trying? What are you trying to do with
That's
me
on
now?
the flip side, actually.
They will come for you because you know they will come for you.
Oh, come on, there are fans and they are watching and they are saying something on the comment section.
I did not say that. I'm just trying to tell you.
But actually, it's true.
I know
Aston Villa has a Champions League medal. Arsenal don't.
There's a fact there. So
the best they had was a Siva medal against Barcelona in 2006.
2006. Arsenal need to go and find a medal in Champions League. It's not for me, but it's for you. Actually, Unai Emery is a Champions League heritage coach. He has been a European heritage coach because he has been successful when it comes to UEFA Cup. He has been successful for Villarreal and Sevilla. He's fantastic. So when it comes to Champions League, Aston Villa is back to where they belong because they have really spent. They spent heavily and they have fine-tuned their system. Check out their transfer windows. Check out their addition, their business play when it comes to the club. It has been fantastic. Selling Douglas Luiz and bringing in this Everton, former Everton
Duran John.
Duran John, the other midfielder that plays for Belgium, that fantastic midfielder.
Yuri
Telemans. So you see a lot of addition into the team. So they are going to do their best when it comes to this game. But
Young Boys is just one of those boys.
They are one of those boys, but they know how to play this Champions League.
Ask Manchester United. Couple of seasons ago.
What they did to Manchester United.
Goodness.
So I'm expecting a thrilling game, an exciting game, a wonderful game, and a beautiful night for both of them.
Two teams that will not be in action action later tonight, but of course we must talk about them and these two players, Atalanta and Bayern Leverkusen. Bayern Leverkusen will play Feyenoord come tomorrow, while on Thursday we'll see Atalanta battle Arsenal. Let's talk about Victor Boniface and his goal celebration over the weekend. This guy happens to be one of, if not the fans' favorite. He knows how to engage fans and have fun on his social media handles. Now, over the weekend, he scored a brace and he had a decent game. He was voted man of the match in that game where Bayern Leverkusen won their opponent by 4 goals to nil, where he was the man of the match, and he also was among the player of the week in the German Bundesliga for week 4. And he had that celebration, and he has come out to explain that the celebration is nothing but a love he has for a TikTok influencer. He did promise him that he's going to celebrate in that mode, but he has not scored in his last 2 games, and when he scored, he actually did that celebration.
He just had to pay back. He just had to give back to the fans. You know, Victor Boniface understands the market. He understands the Nigerian market. You understand? He's a core blood Nigerian. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to the memes and all those stuff. And Boniface is a fantastic player.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, you know, last season I told you about Boniface. I told you Boniface is one of the most talented attackers we have.
4 times in a row in the German Bundesliga, winning the rookie of the month, and that is a record. No player, no African, no player in the history of the Bundesliga will win that accolade 4 times in a row.
He's a fantastic player. Victor Boniface, the only problem I have is just that when it comes to Nigeria, I don't know, based on the system, I'm talking about the coaching system, where are you going to play these players? Where are they going to benefit? How are they going to be?
Who are the midfielders feeding him, the wingers feeding him as a striker?
But Boniface in Bayer Leverkusen is a menace. He's a gem. He's a theatrical player. He's an economical player. He comes deep in the midfield, win the ball, play with Viets and all those things. No, Boniface is exceptional, and I'm telling you that this season he's going to deliver, because last season he was injured during the period to the AFCON. You know, that made him not being part of the African best player now of the season. You understand what I mean? If not, he was supposed to be one of the standard players of the season. So it's going to be a fantastic one for Boniface.
And talking about not making it to the African Footballer of the Year contenders, as well as the FIFA Ballon d'Or, you cannot take it away from a certain player, Ademola Lookman. He was absolutely magnificent over the weekend, where Atalanta had to show class against Fiorentina, coming up from a 2-1 down to win that game by 3 goals to 2, where Ademola Lookman assisted a goal and scored the winner. In fact, Ademola Lookman was voted the player of the match, as well as making it to the Serie A team of the week for week 4. Ademola Lookman, picking up from where he stopped against Benin Republic in the AFCON qualifiers, and over there in his club side, he's not relenting. He has officially opened his goal for the season.
I call him the African whiskey. Ademola Lookman. That name is a signature into African football and Nigeria at large. Ademola Lookman, I spotted him. I started watching Ademola Lookman when he was playing for Everton Academy. When I saw the raw talent he has, but because he's kind of, I don't understand, you know, these British, they know how to play some games when it comes to the black kind of African players. If Ademola Lookman is a white player, they would fight tooth and nail to make sure he stand out at Everton. What they did for this new Newcastle player, this former Everton player that is playing for Newcastle, they did it for him when he was in Everton. They built him, gave him space and time to play. Not Cavalier, this Newcastle player now that plays for England, that's a young boy. They groomed him in Everton. They made him feel comfortable before they sold him to Newcastle at a high stage. Ademola Lookman.
Could that be a Sean Longstaff?
No, not Sean Longstaff.
Is it an attacker?
He's a winger. He's an attacker. Before we finish, I'll try to tell you about him. And Ademola Lookman is an exceptional player. And Atlanta value Ademola Lookman at a high. You know, when he was trying to move to PSG, when they were trying to give him some ban and some internal ban because he was forcefully moving to PSG, because that move I wasn't expecting Ademola Lookman to move to PSG as of that point. You are in Champions League. Stay in the Champions League and deliver. I want you to go to Arsenal Football Club, clubs that can, you understand, give you what you want to offer. Go to bigger clubs like Real Madrid if there's opportunity. You understand? Not PSG. French league is, to me, has gone on the decline for me. But Ademola Lookman is exceptional and is the outright favorite to win this African Best Player of the Season. I'm telling you.
Talking about Callum Wilson, Almiron, Jamope Gordon, and
Anthony Gordon.
That should be Anthony Gordon.
He was given a space for Everton when he was brought from the under-17 and promoted to the under-19, promoted to the under-20. So the space he was given, they gave him so much space to explore his talent. That season that Everton was trying to go for trying to go to relegation, where Iwobi's goal saved them. That was the season they sold Iwobi to Fulham. They gave him that opportunity. Once Newcastle came in play, he didn't hesitate. He went through to Newcastle. But Lookman was there. He was really playing his heart for Everton. They didn't give Lookman the space to explore his talent, and they just sent him on loan, and it's very painful. This is what I'm trying to talk about. Now he scored a hat-trick in the UEFA Cup final, and they were trying to celebrate him. No, they were even trying to demean him.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I'm saying that Ademola Lookman is not going to leave Atlanta for the moment.
Anytime soon. He will continue to explore. And before we say goodbyes, let's let you know that 18-year-old Brazilian and Real Madrid attacker Endrick had finally said, "Will you marry me?" to his 21-year-old girlfriend Gabrielle Miranda. Yesterday, it was all over the social media how this 18-year-old boy could actually say yes to his long-time girlfriend. Picking up from the likes of Phil Foden and the likes of other players who actually tied the knot so early.
Sometimes I laugh. He's an 18-year-old, but you know, in Nigerian system we have a lot of where you say an 18-year-old is trying to get married, because once you are okay in life, you are allowed to get married at any point in time. Congratulations and kudos to the young lad for getting married.
One thing that we would tell him is secure your wealth and secure your future. Do what a certain Moroccan Akrava Hakimi did in order to have a stable future. Do well to follow us on all our social media handle. Let's hear your comment and your take on the show on the comment section. It's all about sport on our signature television. Jeffrey Obrigado, thank you for stopping by and talking sport with us.
My pleasure.
Perhaps we do this again and again.
Again and again, definitely. My pleasure.
And this is a signature television, and this is a signature sport. Come on, let's do this again at same time tomorrow on your super TV station, signature television. On behalf of Obrigado and myself, we want to say we are done and we are gone. God bless, no stress. Adios.